Welcome to the AI Kids Storytime. I'm excited to share today's story, The Tale of Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle. Let's begin our adventure. Once upon a time, in a little village, there lived a kind and busy hedgehog named Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle. She was not just any hedgehog, she was a wonderful washerwoman. Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle loved to help her friends by washing their clothes and making them look brand new. She had a cozy little home at the bottom of a great big oak tree. One day, a little girl named Lucy was wandering near the woods when she spotted Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle's house. Lucy had lost her way, and she was feeling quite sad. As she walked closer, she heard the sound of splashing water and the sweet smell of soap. Curious, Lucy peeked inside the little house. Inside, she saw Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle busy scrubbing a pile of clothes. "Oh, what a lovely hedgehog," Lucy thought. "I wonder if she can help me." Just then, Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle looked up and smiled. "Hello there. What brings you to my little home?" she asked in her warm, friendly voice. Lucy explained that she was lost and needed help. Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle listened patiently and offered her a cozy seat by the fire. After Lucy felt a bit better, Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle said, "Let me finish up my washing, and then I'll help you find your way home." Lucy watched as Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle worked her magic. She scrubbed the clothes until they sparkled, and soon, the smell of fresh laundry filled the air. When all the clothes were clean, Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle folded them neatly and put them away. "Now, let's get you home," she said with a cheerful smile. They set off together, and as they walked, Lucy admired the beautiful flowers and trees around them. She felt happy to have made a new friend. Suddenly, they heard a rustling sound. "Oh dear, what's that?" Lucy exclaimed. Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle chuckled. "That's just my little friends, the rabbits and squirrels." The animals peeked out to say hello as they passed by. Lucy waved and giggled, feeling very adventurous. After a lovely stroll, they reached the edge of the woods, and Lucy could see her house in the distance. "Thank you, Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle," Lucy said, her eyes shining with joy. Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle smiled and said, "Remember, if you ever need clean clothes or a friend, you know where to find me." With a wave goodbye, Lucy ran towards her home, and Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle returned to her cozy little house, humming a happy tune. And from that day on, Lucy and Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle remained the best of friends, sharing many adventures together. And so, dear children, remember to be kind and helpful, just like Mrs. Tiggy-Winkle. The end.